Ladies and gentlemen,
now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
This is the Hype Reality Podcast.
listen,
hype-reality.com.
listen, or I'll kill ya.
Hey, welcome to the latest edition of the Hype Reality Podcast. My name is Emilio, a.k.a. Triple D, a.k.a. the Dominican Dirk Diggler, along with my co-host,
Ephraim.
Let's jump right into it. Let's talk about some shit.
You were never really one of us.
Thank you. The thought that weaponizing youth and training them to kill could have turned out so ugly for so many of them.
We were a team. We fought for each other. You never understood that.
I hope we don't sound too old right now, but I definitely remember when the first Power Rangers came out. I was like in first grade, and this shit fucking blew my fucking mind. They had the fucking Zordon, which was before all kinds of, good quality CG and shit, and fucking digital Moon Man on there, and then you had fucking the dinosaurs coming out from the volcanoes and stuff. Like, that shit was mind fucking. It was I think it played a pivotal role for a long time, and a lot of the shit that I thought was cool, and like what I thought like a lot of people kind of like bonded with. It was like one of those shows that everybody watched and everybody kind of liked, and a lot of kids try to imitate it when we go to recess and shit. I'm not
Or
sure
at
if
least
you had the same
everybody
thing.
knew about, especially like even adults.
Yeah,
It kind of fucked my head a little bit during that time because there's a lot of like teenagers and young kids in media like beating the shit out of grown men, because you had like Power Rangers, obviously, where they're supposed to be teenagers,
right?
And they had that one movie, Three Ninjas. You remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Or through the power of karate, these like little suburban white kids are like punching these grown men in the
Big
nuts.
Samoan guys in the dick, like. And then you had what was it, Surf Ninja 2, whatever.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
another one. It's like some fucking teenagers just chilling, kicking the crap out of old men and stuff.
All that made sense in my head at the time. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool.
If you have the right technique, you'll be all right. I don't know, man. I thought it was definitely one of the shows that I championed as a kid, and even through time, like I tried to keep up with it, but I definitely started losing all respectability for that show. Like, at least from what I remember, like from what I liked so much about it. Like, slowly with every season and like new version of it, I started just like, okay, less and less of these motherfuckers are even here. And whenever I hear a reference or whenever I see something on YouTube or some shit, like I still gravitate towards that show. It's definitely a nostalgic kind of thing to me. And especially with fucking what just happened over the last couple of days, or was it the last week, that fucking video dropping, like, I can understand why I got so many fucking views in such a short period of time.
Yeah, people don't want to let it go. Like, a lot of people are trying to reignite that nostalgia. First thing, like, watching that video, it just kind of reminded me how crazy it was that Saban was able to get away with that shit. Like, you had the Black Ranger, who was obviously black, and the Yellow Ranger, who was yellow. And then, like, on top of that, the Black Ranger, his weapon was like a gun. I was like, and he was like a dancer. He couldn't stop dancing for some reason. Like, what the hell's wrong with him? Like, he's a cool guy, but
he was
like,
always breakdancing and shit.
Yeah, he just can't control himself.
They didn't play into the stereotypes with, what was her name, Trini?
Yeah.
The Yellow Ranger? At least that I'm aware of. I don't remember her doing like any origami or any shit like that, but... But yeah, it was pretty funny. And then what was like the first move they did when they had the chance? Like when they swapped up characters, like they had the Asian guy be the Black Ranger and they had the fucking black chick be the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah,
like that was an easy fix.
Problem solved.
The movie was cool. It was like a short or some shit, and it was of all people, Dawson was in that shit. Like Vanderbeek, he was a big player in it. Period. Like I guess he helped out with the writing, and then obviously he starred in it. And then the producer, director guy, whatever, Khan. I give him props because it seems like they funded this whole shit. There wasn't no like Kickstarter campaign, and there was no like, it was like whatever the fuck money he's been making off of World Series of Poker or whatever the fuck that guy did. Like they funded that whole shit.
Well, to be fair, I mean, no means I would ever want to undermine what those guys did, because it looked really amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
But like a lot of those effects, especially with, if you guys would watch it, like the stuff where you see like the walls, like the orange walls and like the touch screens like that. Those are like I've seen the tutorials on that for After Effects. Like those are not by no means simple to do, but they're like the technology is out there, or whatever. Yeah. Like I think if for him, especially if he wasn't planning on making any money behind it, as long as they got the production thing down, like that was always cool. And yeah, I mean, like if someone would approach me and say, "Hey, you want to play a Power Ranger or do all this cool shit?" I would do it like in a heartbeat. I don't think it took those guys much convincing.
It was cool though, like, and it definitely like obviously sparked my interest into like giving a shit about it again. And then I kind of think about it the sewage that it is now. Like kind of like
I don't know how much of it is sewage or the fact that you're just not meant for the
I'm
market.
also not 6 anymore. That
Yeah, I
helps.
feel like a lot of shit at least will probably blow your mind when you're like a little kid and our parents are watching that shit. Like, what the hell is wrong? This is what you guys watch all day?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy like to think about what kind of grip that Saban, the people that owned all this shit, had on my childhood. Like a lot of that shit, you just be in front of that TV.
Did they
all
also
day.
film like those other like off whatever brand ones, like the
VR
fucking
Troopers.
VR Troopers and Battle Beetleborgs? Or some
Yeah,
shit?
a lot of that shit. Yeah, they had that shit down to a science as well.
They definitely pushed back on this shit. They were not a fan of this shit at all.
Yeah, I thought that was really whack that they like pushed to get the shit taken off. Like I think it's like a very kind of dated move by some of these companies. I think
Flexing.
I think a lot of these companies, especially like I think a lot of like more so like the video game companies that are out there right now, they're a little more hip to this kind of stuff. They understand that all this shit is like promotion. Like there used to be a big thing initially when like people that were playing video games would post like their gameplay online,
Right.
And like the companies would like force people to take it down, like, oh, you can't, this is copyright bullshit, blah blah blah. But they don't realize that this shit is making people want to go buy your game.
Right.
I'm pretty sure this probably makes people like want to look into Power Rangers stuff again. Like that's kind of taking the good with the bad and stop thinking of it as like stop following like the Disney model of like
Exactly.
suing everybody and then scaring the shit out of people.
Trying to fucking smother whatever the fuck they can to make sure that they have the say on everything.
Yeah, and it's just not the way the internet works. Like the internet, especially particularly YouTube in general, is like a big product of remakes culture and people dressing up and doing fan made, you know, almost like kind of homages to like these series that had like a big play on their lives and childhood, especially like those guys now. Because I mean, like if you're fucking like in your mid to late 20s or early 30s, like this was your time, and now you have the technology and the free time and money, I guess, to do something like this on this scale and to show it to these amount of people. Like this is what the fuck people would do.
That's how you know we're just not letting go, like losing grip of this shit. It's like, man, it would be really cool if we had like a real gritty, like mean, like serious Power Rangers movie. Like the reason why it was so cool as a kid is because I was pretty fucking innocent. Like, oh my god, pa-choo, pow! Like it was kid shit or whatever. They had little fucking robot dinosaurs and fucking weird little. Like a moon man on a fucking screen telling them what to do and shit. And
Yeah,
like
they don't even get like cut when they get like slashed. They have little sparks fly out their chest.
yeah, like and then like a burn mark or some crap.
I guess the guy's in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, like it was
If they
innocent.
really got their ass kicked, they just get out that suit. Like that was basically it.
It was very innocent, like the whole show. But at the time, we thought it was on some other shit. And now because of like, you know, things that we grew up on keep having to kind of grow up with us, with the exception of certain things like Power Rangers or even like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and shit. Like those things happen to stay still in that child realm. But we keep trying to reach back and like, come on, man, just grow up with us. Like you have like Batman, like The Dark Knight Rises and shit. Like, man, they really fucking screwed the pooch on that one. Like they went all the way. They went full retard. Like fucking they know the people that are watching the movies and they're like, you know what? I have a feeling this is gonna work. Let's just go. Let's make fucking Joker a legit sociopath. Let's have him fucking jamming pencils in dudes' eyes and shit. Like,
Yeah, people just can't let go. They just want their characters to grow with them instead of like, I think Jesus said this like when I was a child.
Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus. Like the Bible is like when I was a child, I think as a child, I ate as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. But people are like, yeah, fuck that.
yeah,
noise.
fuck
Like-
that noise, man. I'm growing younger every day.
I think Ninja Turtles is an interesting one because like they almost did the opposite. Because that first one is pretty like adult heavy. Like
I'll go with that.
because it was more inspired by the comic books, was more gritty.
Right.
And like there was a lot of cursing. There was fucking people were getting the shit kicked out of them in that first one. And then they progressively got more kiddier. Like
Yeah, the second and third.
Yeah, and the cartoons is basically kind of stayed in that realm. Don't get me wrong, I have a basis to do that kind of thing because the basis is like the comic books and there's a little bit of that. But like everyone knows, or at least initially, a lot of people think when they think Batman, they think the superhero movies in general, they think kid shit, whatever. But like that's not really what is being, was being sold to. These kids are not out there, making this shit sell like $200 million in box office. It's like grown ass men and women, mostly men, like
Grown men, children. It's like
man child.
you think of the people that really buy like Batman comics and shit like that are like these what are those things called? Those mounts or what are those shit? Those little
like the little
figurines?
statues and
Yeah,
shit.
those
Those
like
are expensive as fuck.
those are like $200-$300 for a little fucking mountain, whatever that shit is. Like, you don't know, goddamn 2-year-olds buying 3-year-old.
What are you gonna do with that shit? Like,
again, I'll go back to Batman. You think of the skeevy stoner kind of motherfuckers that read these Batman comics and like, oh man, he has an action for everything. He's so smart, and he's like a loner. He's kind of his own thing and shit like that. It's like, oh right, it only made sense when they made that fucking movie like that. But in regards to the Power Ranger thing, like,
yeah, especially DC, because DC comics in general, in terms of their market, tend to skew older.
Yeah,
like they attract the people because they're originators for a lot of shit too, like in the 60s and stuff like that. So like a lot of the men are kind of older and they kind of like that kind of stuff, and so particularly the movies as well lead more adult kind of stuff. Whereas Marvel has really kind of embraced the Disney umbrella. And just like fuck it, just they're doing all this kid shit. So yeah, like you have they kind of try to hit on all markets. So even the Avengers movies are still pretty kiddie. And
yeah, that like, there's an example of like Captain America shit or whatever. Like they try to have it more grittier and more realistic, and it's like this fucking covert government cover up and all this shit with Shield, and fucking staging Nick Fury's death, spoiler alert, and all this crap or whatever. And then a lot of bullets, no blood. Like all these people getting shot the fuck up and all this shit. And like, Winter Soldier was not gonna fucking, pierce the skin of Captain America with that blade that he had in his hand for like most of that fight sequence and shit like that. Like they try, but they still do it in a very innocent kind of kiddie fashion, or they try to keep that in mind while they're doing these scenes.
So what should be like the rationale? So like when should someone like put this shit down? Okay, cool, whatever. Like us being the consumers buying into the shit, and also the people that are actually making this shit. When should we be like?
I'll go with as a male. When do you lose the ability to have kids? Whenever that takes place, put down the toys, stop watching these cartoons, give them video games. But if I remember right, guys can give that seed forever. So I'll go with a hashtag growing younger every day. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird balance because like I still fucking, if I have the chance and I'm bored, I'll watch Dragon Ball Z fights all the fucking time. Like that shit actually still makes me really fucking happy, and it also makes me want to go work out more or some shit. Like something I'm gonna do is gonna make me do that shit or something. I still catch myself with like my little cousins and whatever. Like I get happy when they get some shit, like they get like some fucking new video game, like a Marvel video game or like a Mortal Kombat game or some shit that's like a throwback to my time. So I can't give an answer right now. I just know when I see it. When I see it, I was like, yep. Especially if you buy those little fucking statues and shit, man. You need to chill the fuck out. Like,
I mean, I'm not having active in like a lot of that, but a lot of shit still hits my radar in terms of like new comics or new like storylines that come out. But I'm always like curious to see if like the stigma behind like a lot of this fantasy shit is like kind of going away. Like when we were in high school or like even younger, when we spend time at the comic book store, which is like, good luck finding that shit around.
Yeah, it's fucking pretty outdated now.
Yeah, like a comic book store, or like somewhere doing like a lot of fan geek shit, whatever. Like the stigma was like, oh, you guys are in here not getting any pussy. And in my case, like they're pretty accurate. Like a lot of those kids are there too. Like it's not that far off from the truth. But now you have like people who are about that life, and also not so much like really kind of embracing that shit. You have Comic Cons where people dress up as these characters, where they're clearly not 12 years old anymore. Yeah.
Actually, you don't find that many kids in there, period. Like, the only kids that you find those Comic Cons are kids that are dragged in by their parents. Like, it's not like they're like, I want to go to Comic Con. It's like, hey, you're going to wear this little fucking RoboCop costume, and I'm going to go as Terminator, and he's going to go as Rambo.
Yeah, it's like a extended Halloween for like a lot of these people.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, you've been to one of those things, but I haven't been to any of them. Like, I'm curious, like, because like that's a lot of shit I see with the cosplayers, like these big titty white women dressing up as like Sailor Moon or like some character from Final Fantasy. I don't necessarily know you want your kids to be in it. Don't get me wrong, I don't knock it at all. Like, Jessica Negri, all those people, holla at your boy.
Man,
but
titties are titties. Anybody can enjoy those, but yeah, it is still, even though it's a very childish thing, it's like that wherever they're showcasing that event, like whether it's San Diego or the thing here in New York or whatever, MegaCon, Comic-Con, whatever, like it's still definitely geared towards adults, like in the themes and like the fucking people going around. It's like it is an arena of fucking Neverland. Like those people in there are like for that day are able to be whatever ninja, elf, princess, warrior, mohawk, whatever the fuck they want to be, goblin for that day. and no one's gonna judge you because you're amongst a bunch of other fucking weirdos. So it works out pretty well.
Well, I know the people that aren't upset about this shit is like these damn companies that are cashing in on nostalgia, like
fucking
selling all these toys.
Shit, going back to Power Rangers. Tommy's still banking on this shit. Tommy, the Green Ranger, wasn't the real name David some shit? He still goes to all this stuff. He's at all those Comic-Cons and all those events, and like whenever they have a chance to like have a throwback episode in Power Rangers, he's the first one to get an erection. Like,
that is cool with a pinch of sad that lets him like be able to still embrace it, because like, a lot of times like when you have someone that's like known for an iconic role, like
shake it eventually.
It's like, whatever, I did that, blah blah blah. But he's like, nah, man, I'm the fucking green and white ranger. I'm all that shit, man. Like, you want a picture? Make it your ass over here. Like, he's like, I think that's really cool for him.
From day one, like he did have that little spiff when he did the fucking, what was it called, Undressed or some shit on TV.
Yeah.
But by no way, shape, or form did he ever like. He always championed that role or whatnot. You have like look at like fucking Zach Morris for a while. Like the guy that played Zach Morris, Mark, whatever the fuck his name, Gosselin, some shit. Yeah. He wasn't like by no means. Look at goddamn. I can go for these for days, but like the fucking bitch that played Jessie Spano in Saved by the Bell, she went to do that fucking striptease and some other shit. Like she tried to get distance herself from that shit a lot. A lot of these people just try to like whenever they got that one champion role, wait for it with these fucking Big Bang motherfuckers. Like they're gonna be having that moniker around them for the rest of their lives, and they're like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like you leave me alone. Shit. Look at Fresh Prince. They had that motherfucker singing that song last week on Ellen. Can you just rap the intro to Fresh Prince? Like, you know, that show's been off for like 15 years. I mean, like fucking a shitload of movies since then. Like, did you guys get off that dick? Like,
it's like a little wind-up toy. Like, come on, do the thing that we all know. Like,
it is what it is, man. You know, pick your lane. Do whatever you want to do. Like what you want to like, as long as it doesn't affect anybody. I champion these guys. The guys that made that film or whatever, because it did hit like a certain niche in my heart. So I was happy to see this shit or whatever, and I'm happy that the Saban guys kind of fell back and allowed them to repost the video on YouTube and Vimeo, as long as they put like a little like parental advisory, discretion, whatever paragraph essay thing in front of the video, so when kids did watch it, they would automatically turn it off.
I don't watch that shit. Trust me, these kids are watching way worse shit on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Give me a fucking break. But okay, if it makes you feel better, if it's not to hurt your brand.
Hip hop started out in the park. We used to do it to avoid the knocks. I used to do it so the homeboy Clark could get the fuck off my back while I knocked off these packs. I used to rap to impress my friends, to pass the time while I was getting in it. Just so happens I'm so illegal with the pen, they ain't want me doing anything illegal again.
Throw it up, Blackie. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Another big like Never Land is I would go with the hip hop world. You know, I think it's come a long way since, you know, the era of like the disco and everything, where everyone kind of thought it was just a phase, and you know, it's a full on like, you know,
it's a way of life.
Yeah, way of life, and you know, art form, respected art form, guess depending on who you talk to. But the one thing I guess a lot of people have kind of taken notice of is like, I don't know, like it's almost like it's so it's hard for like a lot of these people that are like, I guess at this point, elderly statesmen in hip hop to like, one, get the respect that of the foundation they've laid out for like the people that come after them, like meaning like the KRS-Ones or like the MC Light or like the Roxanne Shante or Rakim or all these people that played like, you know, build up these little stepping stones for everyone to have and stand on their own.
We're legitimately the building blocks of this.
Yeah, don't get the kind of respect that they have. And then you also have like these people who are still like kind of in the midst of it all, like it's like a Busta Rhymes or like someone that's come like from that era who like still want to like to stay with the time. They can't really like quote unquote act their age or like, you know, be go against the grain in terms of like what's popular. So they
can't
kind of
quote unquote turn down.
Yeah, turn down. So they're turning up, exactly. Like, and I think it's kind of weird. Like I don't know. I cringe anytime I see like anyone over 40 say things like ratchet and turn up and that shit. Like this goes.
Busta Rhymes busted his fucking head wide open trying to quote unquote turn up. Like you're too old for that shit. Like you shouldn't have to worry about those type of injuries.
Yeah.
From you dancing.
Everyone, I get it. You used to move around a lot during the Hype William video days, but that shit is long gone, man. Like
you don't have the hand-eye coordination or the, you know, you just don't got it anymore, bro. You don't got the glow, Leroy. Chill out.
That's what sucks. I'd be like, I'm almost curious, like, how much, like, do we feel the art form gives, like, these people that are, like, the ability to act their age? Like, I mean, shit. Like, hey, look at R. Kelly's old dumbass. The guy looks like a fucking big-ass kid the way, like, with this, when he reappeared, like, on the scene with that new album, like, Black Panties. You hear that song with Justin Bieber?
He has a song with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, or Justin Bieber was in the video. I think it's called, like, Birthday or something. It was like, what the hell? That guy's almost 50 years old. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I'm not like this big ageist dude, like, oh, you're old, shut the fuck up, sit down. Like, but I look, across, other genres where, particularly in rock, you have, like, the Rolling Stones and all these other people that with respected catalogs that can, like, they don't have to fucking do a song with, like, Fall Out Boy or Maroon 5 or, like, Ed Sheeran or some shit like that. They can just do what they fucking did and be respected for it and make money or whatever.
It's like that genre allows them to age. Like,
yeah.
they're not, you don't see them throwing back. They're not reaching back. Like, they're growing.
They're not doing cocaine anymore. They got, like, grandkids and their kids have kids. Like, they're not fucking, like, on some other shit. Like, when it's Grammy time performance, yeah, they'll put on that little bullshit outfit and stuff like that, and then, like, kiss, they'll dust off their makeup.
I'm not sure about the cocaine thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are still doing cocaine.
Nah,
they're just not doing as much cocaine.
Those guys are chilling the fuck out.
When they're on tour, I'm still pretty sure they're partying.
But no one's also expecting them to keep it real.
You don't see them dressing like look at I guess the only one I could think of recently, and I'm not even sure it was recently because I don't really give a fuck about that genre anymore. But, like, if they call that rock, I don't know, because rockers have a weird thing of what they call rock and what isn't rock, or what's whatever fucking.
Usually, if I like it, it's not rock.
Yeah, like conformist or some shit like that. But, like, I remember Green Day, like, a year or two, did a performance and they were still putting on makeup and shit and, like, dressing like they did, like, in fucking 98 or 99 or whatever when they first came out. And I was like, why are you guys doing that? Why don't you guys just dress like, just, like, coordinate kind of, but dress your age or what? It's totally cool. Like, none of you guys, your skin ain't holding up, man. It's totally cool. We know how old you are. It's not a fucking secret. Just go with it. Like, in rock, you have the ability, for the most part, to grow, and then your music kind of, it shows your kind of veteranship, or shows like where you at, like you've mastered this craft and you're able to explore the ins and outs of this genre. Like with rap, it seems like it's almost, you have to be a very certain, like you have to get kind of almost like a special pass to not only grow up, stay relevant, stay respected, and still make new music, and, like, like everybody's happy with you kind of shit.
Right. No,
it's very rare because, like examples like the R. Kelly bullshit, even though he's R&B, but, like, R. Kelly, that motherfucker's still trying to dress like he's like these other guys or whatever, but he is not Trey Songz. That train, those fucking chocolate factory shit days are over, man. Just chill, bro. It's okay. Just grow the fuck up. You are an R&B too. R&B used to be championed by the older dudes or whatever, like the Al Greens and the whatnot. It's like, champion that shit, man. Be a Lionel Richie or some shit. Like, grow with the form.
Like, get away from that kind of light or whatever. That fame was, that Jay-Z shit. Like, fame is like the worst drug and shit known to man.
Stronger than heroin.
But, like, that's the thing too. Like, I look at a lot of these guys that come from, like, previous eras. I know I know deep down in their hearts, like, granted, I don't know these people personally, but I know they're not rocking what the fuck Young Thug is doing and wearing. Like, yo, dog, we about to hit the stage, put on this dress, like, oh, okay, cool. That makeup too? Yeah, I'm passing my heels and shit like that. Like, these guys are not, they're but it's taboo for them to go against the grain. If someone say, hey man, this shit is fucking whack. I don't understand what this guy's saying. I'm fucking tired. I don't want to sit down. This Molly shit is fucking make my heart race. Like, this shit, like, I don't want to do this shit no more. Like, I want to sit down and, like, fucking, like, do something. Like, but no one's going to go out and say that. No one's going to go out on a limb.
I got to get my colon cleansed at 9 tomorrow, man. I can't be turning up till 3.
I got to get my diabetes shot. Like, oh, god damn.
Get my prostate checked. But it's a weird thing because then, like, it's a paradox. Like, you look at hip hop and you look at people, like, there's people that walk that line, then they do it well, and they're like, they still get a little bit of flack. Like Jay-Z recently, Jay-Z's always gonna get flack, and I think he champions that shit now. Like, recently was a whole Young Thug thing. Like, he can't see himself buying a Jay-Z CD and then some other shit because he's fucking old. That's gonna happen here and there, but Young Thug's fucking awful, so it doesn't really fucking matter. You have a Jay-Z, you have like a fucking Eminem, you have like a Nas, you have like a Common. Like, they all know their lanes. They all are able to kind of blur the lines here and there and still stay relevant and still, not really have, they switch it up, but it's the same but different kind of saying. Like they're the same but different. Like you can listen to Jay-Z now and you can listen to Jay-Z back then, and you can see the growth. You can see what has changed in his life and the way he approaches certain things. But nonetheless, you still get that same kind of feel when you listen to his music to some stretch of the imagination. But then you have people like I see the struggling one is like fucking good old LL Cool J, man. LL Cool J should be a fucking god. LL Cool J for a good 10. Let's go.
More than that.
13 years, because after that 10 album was when he started he had that 10 album when he did 10 years of rap. He was a fucking beast. Like he was still able to do the little like fucking Meatloaf fucking chest hair shirtless whatever videos and shit, the love songs and stuff, but he still eat a motherfucker alive on the fucking microphone. He still had really good songs, and he was still blurring with a lot of these younger cats at the time or whatnot. But then like somewhere along the lines something changed. I'm not sure if it was the acting or the other things. Was like that's another thing that they try to carry too much weight. They kind of forget where they came from, kind of shit, and they're not able to walk both lines so well. And I think LL Cool J was definitely an example of that. Damn man, and he's one person they laugh at him when they talk about him as a rapper. Like if I would tell you top 5 of all time, and I put LL Cool J anywhere in that list, it'd be like you're fucking crazy. Like the guy from In the House or whatever that fucking show was, and the CSI dude, nah, like. He's super thirsty now. Like he's reaching hard.
That's the thing. Like our generally speaking, like our attention span in hip hop is very short.
Yeah.
Like it's like I think you talk to like someone who's like in a freshman in college now or something like that. I think they're
They want that acid rap.
No, I think their thing starts from dedication on down. Like Lil Wayne being the best and everything after that. Like I don't even think they go past that. Like, everyone else is kind of whatever. In their mind, but which is it's fine, it's cool, it's all subjective, whatever. I just think it's kind of weird again, like to see like these OGs, whatever, quote unquote, like these people who should know better. It's almost like the blind following the blind of like if you're fucking in this game for 15, 20 years and you're in your 40s, almost 50s now, and you're just so concerned with wanting to seem cool that you're willing to accept anything and just follow these kids who don't really know anything, who should be looking to you for like guidance on like elevating their subject matter and in terms of like just the same shit, like, but no, everyone's like, okay, cool, we'll talk about getting high, fucking bitches, fucking yo bitch, like get more money than you,
broke Negroes,
I'll kill you, like. So like how's the ultimately like it kind of hurts the art form as well, like it's not willing to progress. Like I don't want to hear that fucking the man and what people make, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, you can make the music you want to make and people are gonna like stick with what works,
but it has to be good. I think that's where they kind of fuck up. Like they assume like, oh, because I'm this person, doesn't matter what the fuck comes out of my mouth. Like you should buy my shit because I paid my dues, kind of shit. Like if your music isn't popping, your music isn't popping. I don't give a fuck how good you are. And
yeah, KRS-One is big on that shit too. He's like, oh, I'm here with the message. I say this shit, blah blah blah, whatever. But you listen to like his newer stuff, whatever, like, or at least like I would say like in the early like 2007 when he dropped like. What was it, hip hop whatever is alive or some shit, like whatever, like it's just not as good. Like I mean, I get what you're saying, and you need a balance to anything you do, whatever, but like it has to be good at the end of the day for it to get the
KRS-One just recently came out like he's like I can't tour in the States anymore, like I can only tour here, like he tours overseas, like because they still have that hunger or whatever, like they still have that obsession with like that fucking early 90s late 80s kind of hip-hop shit or whatever. Right. That's where a lot of those old heads are, like fucking Slick Rick, Wu-Tang Clan, a lot of them, they still go over there and make buku cash. Like that's the reason they're able to fucking pay their bills, because it's not their album sales, it's not their singles, they're not making radio.
That's like the hip-hop retirement plan, like,
exactly.
It's like a weird kind of thing that's kind of worked out. Everyone kind of follows that trend.
Like, and then like it's weird because those guys, they champion that they kind of have to do that shit, that they have to go overseas, they have to go to all these weird places, and then other people are just like, that almost shows like how big you are if you're able to do the same thing. Like you see Drake in London, or you see fucking Kanye over there in Bangladesh or some weird shit, or like whatever, you see these people overseas or something, they're like, damn, these guys have fucking made it, like these guys are big deal or whatever. Going on that guy Zayn or whatever the fuck his name is on BBC Radio 1 or some shit, like damn, only the elite get on this shit kind of crap or whatnot. It's a weird thing. Like look at G-Unit. The only reason they were even doing shit was because people were still buying their music in Europe and shit. Like besides that, they would not have been as whatever relevance they had when they had it, kind of shit. Like a lot of people live and die over there. Like once that dies,
yeah, what are you gonna do?
There's no hip hop retirement plan, bro.
Yeah, what are they gonna do when these European people don't want to listen to your shit either? You can only do like OPP and all those songs like for so long. For okay, guys, we've seen it. Like, I don't know.
I champion it when I see it done well. You get me? Like, my favorite rappers are probably like those guys that we just named or whatever. Like, my favorite rappers are still like the same people that have been for a while. Like Nas, Jay-Z, Eminem, and Common pretty much there. Like Andre 3000 is another one. Like, he's been doing this shit forever. Though, never dropped the fucking solo album, that selfish son of a bitch. But, like, through time, whatever, he still does his thing the way he does it. And then people look to him and like, damn, that was dope. How did he do that? Like the way he flexes his voice, the way he gets on a track, the way he kind of goes in and out of his lines and shit like that. He puts the songs together. Like it's still Dre Day. It's still Dre all day. But like he don't really have to do anything to cater to anybody else. Like people want what he does. You have other people that want to try to do what they do, and it doesn't really fucking work out.
What about the idea of like hip hop being birthed out of like the struggle in a lot of these communities where there's an absentee father and like there's not this I don't know, almost like structure with that goes deep to the roots of like not like having a father to like tell you what's up and being this fatherless culture. What do you kind of think of that?
Demonized older man kind of thing.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Like, what do you like?
That's a great fucking. I
haven't heard a dear daddy or some shit. Like,
yeah, that's a
dear mama, like mama this, and what else is kind of weird.
That's a fucking great analogy. That's like a great point. I never really thought of it like that. And it's what I saw a lot in rap was like a lot of rappers that were raised by their mothers, like single mothers, have a strong dislike for their fathers, and then they end up having a daughter. Like that was like a very like Ludacris, Nas, Eminem, fucking Jay-Z has a daughter now. Yeah. Like Kanye West. Like they all it was like that. It was like a trend. It was a weird thing or whatnot. And then even more than that, a lot of these rappers they are raised by a woman, like a single mom or whatnot, and then they like gravitate towards like this kind of gang shit or this quote unquote street shit and whatever the fuck it is, because you have all these kind of like young fly guys getting it or whatever, and they're dropping a little bit of wisdom on you, and you're making money too and doing some other shit. And people think you're cool and blah blah connected, blah blah blah, and you kind of gravitate towards that because you never had that male figure in your life, and they kind of gravitate towards that shit. But that's a then thing, not a now thing. Like a lot of these dudes, they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They're just regurgitating the shit or whatever.
Again, go back to the point of like being able to elevate the art form. Like a lot of these people that are coming out with music now, these guys are coming out with some great backgrounds. You got the guy, number one guy, Drake, like who also like I guess had an absentee father, more or less, but like by no means was he in the streets or whatever. But like his music and like the stuff he talks about in terms of like there's a lot of the similar themes with being promiscuous and having multiple women and like and getting money and getting fly or whatever, like a lot of stuff we associate with. I don't got
time for you haters. Yeah, and like I got too much money for that.
A lot of stuff we would associate with the street mentality, street whatever. Now like people are just saying because it sounds cool. It's because like that's what people want to listen to. So like that's like the weird kind of thing. But it's also like kind of funny because like you have like this common denominator with the no fathers and the strong respect for the mother and hip hop, whatever. But
no, it's like I was beating bitches.
Yeah, like this weird kind of dichotomy with like it's like it's like running through girls and fucking bitches and fuck your bitch and
I'm gonna say like Chris Brown's vocabulary over the last couple of CDs has been pretty limited, but it also like paints a mighty clear picture of the words that are being used, or like the it's like broke Negroes, no,
God.
bad bitches, yes.
I think that's like a great like measuring stick. Like I love Chris Brown's music. I think that makes great fucking music. I mean, you can argue what you think, everything about the guy personally, but I think it's like an interesting measuring stick to like what people are willing to take, because like that is still technically R&B, and that guy is talking about fucking bitches and you guys are all hoes, whatever, and like whatever, I'm fucking yo bitch and da 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 da, like, and that's supposed to be like, I think of R&B, I think of people getting swooned and like croon to, but like god damn, like the bar has been.
I think Chris Brown's more of a rapper than most of these rappers, like, and I'm not, and I have nothing to mean by no way, shape, or form. Do I mean his music? I mean the way he carries himself, the way he goes about things, like. He's very emotional, but he expresses it through the form or whatever. He's gotten altercations. He's put hands on chicks. He's like
got cases.
he got tats. He's been in jail. Like he's more thug than a lot of these rappers. Like he's definitely more thug than that fucking. Not even thug. He's more of like he embodies that like that. It's so weird to say that
bad boy.
yeah, like it's so weird to say of all people. Chris Brown, like Chris Brown a couple years ago was Justin Bieber, and it's like, but yeah, man, he's that dude or whatever. And like if you look at things that you used to respect in the hip hop culture, or things that were compliments of it, or whatever the case, whatever words you want to use, I guess he is that. And it's just sad because like his cohort is fucking Tyga. Tyga's a little fucking weird peanut butter bastard, and then you have like a lot of these little weirdos. Like these guys they're just weirdos. They don't do shit. Like they just rap this shit because they got enough time to do it. Like
yeah, that's happening from like the top and down. Like even the guys that are relevant to like the older dudes. Like I always thought that was whack. Even when I came hip to it, like 50 Cent, a good example. Someone who doesn't drink or smoke, but like you listen to a lot of his records, like yeah, I'm in the club, smoking, drinking, blah blah blah. Like yeah, because I know you want to hear that shit, but I'm not gonna do that shit. Go ahead. Like it's kind of a weird kind of thing. Even like these, like again, like these older artists that are still kind of seen as like relevant and newer, like the 2 Chainz or Rick Ross's or whatever. Like these guys,
I think the champion of all that shit is Juicy J.
Yeah, like those guys have families and daughters now. Like it's kind of weird to be calling girls bitches and telling having them come twerk at your shows, and I don't even know. Like don't be wrong, fun is fun, and some of the stuff is
boys will be boys.
Yeah, but be grown up. I don't know, put a suit on, man. Like Jay-Z, no pun intended, laid the blueprint out for a lot of these guys in a lot of ways, and he's like trying, like to his credit, like he's really like moves with that forethought of like I want hip hop to last and be taken seriously. So like the choices he makes in terms of his music, who he collaborates with, where he performs, like at that Glastonbury shit or at the Grammys or whatever, or who he kind of like aligns himself with, is all to kind of like further the genre and like in terms of like gonna be as longevity on the line.
Performed at Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, it's like shit, man.
Bigger, better things, man. Don't like. I think a lot of these guys kind of limit themselves inside of that little frame, and it's that box, and they're gonna stay there. It's the way it is, and they're not gonna be taken serious. A lot of these guys are a fucking joke. Like, I'm kind of happy. Like recently, they had that guy Chance the Rapper on Breakfast Club. Like that guy is somebody that a lot of these other kids should be looking up to. Like all the little stupid shit he talks about in his raps, he's a corny motherfucker, but the kind of way he kind of carries himself and goes about his business and whatever the case is, at least the way he expressed himself on that interview, it's like that's a forward thinking motherfucker. Like that's a cool guy to kind of move with, and it makes sense that all these people are kind of moving with him or whatever. Like yeah, like Madonna, like Jay-Z asked him to be on a Madonna track. You have him fucking talking to all these people, everybody's kind of cool with him and shit. Like.
And that's the thing too, like the people that are actually like quote unquote winning in this time are the ones that are, I feel like the originators of their own kind of shit, like or kind of pushing forward. Like the people that we kind of mentioned, like the Kendricks or the J. Coles, or like Chance the Rapper is a good example. Like I think he has a very unique flow, the way he sounds on a track, the way he puts words together. Like even like his beat selection, it's not like this turn up whatever everything else, or not against anything like those guys, because like I think those guys are cool too, like Migos and the Futures, they created their own lane for themselves in terms of their sound, and everyone's just kind of like nitpicking and taking what they can for it to like align themselves.
I think those guys are gonna sound like they're gonna stay in that box. They're gonna stay there. They're gonna be a T-Pain or some shit. Like T-Pain was cool in 07, 08, and he made a cool sound and cool buzz, but he's staying right the fuck there. Like, that's
the thing. Like they're just gonna that's the fucked up thing with time. Over time, the people are just gonna find a younger, better version of you. Like Young Thug is basically a younger, more feminine version. Some would say gay of Lil Wayne. Like T-Pain, like Future is just a younger, hooder version of T-Pain or whatever. Like so, like that's the joke on all these guys. The only people that I think it worked out pretty well for was like Juicy J, because like he was the one really championing a lot of the sound that people are turning up to now in terms of like the beats and even shit he's talking about, like just like scissor and ecstasy and these type of drugs, whatever, and just like
pop
twerking.
That pussy.
Yeah, a lot of that shit now, like people that was kind of almost kind of niche in the South, whatever. I remember like when I was like, I used to come back and forth a lot between like Florida and New York, because my family stays up in New York and I grew up in Florida, and I remember going back to visit my brothers and sisters. And I was like, hey, you guys heard this song, like, sipping on some scissor? They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like, I started just singing the lyrics, like, sipping on some scissor. And they were just like, do you make that shit up or something? I was like, no, this is like a big song right now. I'm like, they had no fucking clue. So just,
chicken head.
yeah, so see those guys like be able to make them to get that kind of light, I think is cool. But overall, I think these guys just need to fucking grow the fuck up and
like not be so quick to fucking throw a dagger or a brick at these motherfuckers when they do grow up. Like, you got the young guys that gotta fucking respect these guys coming up or whatever, and just be cool with it because it's worked out for a lot of these dudes. That like the guys that are gonna progress over time and that are gonna do good over time. That their music is showing and is gonna pay dividends later on, like the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, the Drakes, and shit like that. Like those guys obviously champion the old heads or whatever in some way, shape, or form, and they pay homage. They constantly shout outs. They'll bring them out on tour and shit like that. Like look at them, look at that model, and follow that. And then these old motherfuckers, hey man, if you don't have the ability to make good music anymore, die. Go somewhere else. Put a suit on. Start your own record label. Start bringing people up. Look at Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane doesn't make fucking fire music anymore, but there are so many people in Atlanta that motherfucker has touched and gave the chance to fucking make music. Like, fucking do something.
That's the thing. 10, 20 years down the line, like the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, whatever, probably even a Drake, because of so many hits he has, whatever, like they're gonna be able to go back and pull that catalog, dust that shit off, and just like stay in their own lane that they create for themselves. They're not gonna have to like, you know, cater to the textures of that era. Like they're gonna be able to like dust off, you know, Good Kid, Mad City, or you know, Forest Hill Drive, and like people are gonna still flock to see those guys. Like a lot of these songs are just so disposable now that people don't care about it. Like, you know, fucking months down the line.
But for the moment. So that's pretty much that, man. That's all we got for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for listening from whatever outlet you have. Continue to tell your friends. Continue to subscribe. Continue to rate. Check out our Twitter. I'm Emilio, Triple D, Dark Diggler, Dominican guy. That's all we got for this week. See you guys next week. Thank you for listening.